Hi, it's Stu, and this is a Little Free Library haul video. And there were two books that I picked up at a darling Friends of the Library kind of like rummage sale event that I went to in a neighboring town. I'm passing through yesterday. I am becoming more discerning. I am actually unhauling sometimes and not trading. However, that being said, there's still a lot out there. So even with the discernment, I'm still hauling a lot of books. This will kind of kick me off with this first one, which is Dostoevsky's The Idiot. This is a classic, and recently I have been passing up a lot of classics. I've read a lot of the classics, both through sort of literature classes and also just through moments in my life when I was reading classics, reading Russian authors especially. This is a big, chunky book as well. It's dense in every way possible, and it's a great book. So I decided, for the sake of my shelf, that I would go ahead and haul this classic, and I know that I'm not going to keep it forever, but I anticipate that it's going to be on my shelf for a while. And maybe one day I will just decide, you know what, I'm not holding on to things, so let me get rid of it. But I did decide to haul it. I really liked this edition, and this is kind of my first, like, I'm going to haul this, maybe not get to it, maybe reevaluate later kind of book. The next was is The Empress by Shan Sa. This is about a Chinese empress. And it says in the blurb that this Empress Wu was one of China's most controversial figures and was the first and only female emperor who emerged in the 7th century during the Great Tang Dynasty. And this is then an historical fiction about this first and only female empress of China. I was intrigued. Historical fiction, when I'm becoming most discerning, isn't necessarily really my jam, but I do want to make room for diversity. I'm starting to lean off these little paperbacks, but I still kind of like haul from Little Free Library, read it on a digital or audio version from my public library, and then return it to the Little Free Library ecosystem. So this did come from a neighborhood Little Free Library. How to Love Your Daughter. This is going to get bumped into the next month's reading challenge, one or two of them. I haven't decided. This is an arc. This author, Hilla Bloom, is Israeli, and and I have a good degree of anticipation for this book. So I won't say anything more about it now. I'll save the sort of deeper reflection for when I do the TBR video. But I anticipate this will be one of those that I read sooner rather than later. The Village Library Demon Hunting Society. It was joyfully found at the very end of my books about books and libraries, and that's okay. I think this is a cozy mystery. And I said I don't really need any more mysteries, but I'm excited. I'm excited for this book for a lot of reasons, as it, takes place in a library, and anything that has to do with books, like most or many book lovers, I'm here for it. It's also just a darling little book that I think would be a fun, I don't know, winter. It feels, since it's cozy, but winter or summer read. So I'm not sure. This is just a side note, me thinking to myself, if I'm going to shelf this on mystery or if I'm going to shelf this in general fiction. But I hauled it at a Little Free Library that, man, it has good books sometimes. And then other times it's just a hot mess. So I guess it pays that I am always walking around or traveling around neighborhoods and checking them out. Oh, the next one was hauled from a little free library where I did not leave a book because this little free library didn't have any face on it, and it had really good books in it. And I actually kind of wanted to take them all and redistribute them. And then I thought, no, whomever placed them there really maybe wants them there. I did haul this book, and then I just put an extra book or another book into a different little free library, thinking of it more like an ecosystem rather than this particular little free library, which wasn't protected, and rain was predicted and in fact did come like a lot. So this book is The Essex Serpent. Could you find a more beautiful dust jacket cover? I think not. This is set in 1893 London, so I believe this is historical fantasy. That's the vibe that I got from this book. And I don't know when I'll get to reading it, but this is definitely one I've been kind of, as I acquire more books, I've been looking at ways how to showcase some of them on shelves around my apartment. So this definitely is a beautiful book that will be a showcase book, and it is one I'm interested in reading. It's not just for show. I do find I have one other one with sprayed edges that's just gorgeous, and I'm like, I have to just maybe this will be it. I have to replace it. I have to replace it so that I'll read it and get rid of it, because that's the commitment I'm making to myself, not to stop hauling, but to continue to haul and then make sure that it's 100% on haul and I'm not hoarding these books. So The Essex Serpent came from a little free library that never has anything because it's broken, and it recently did. From my very neighborhood little free library, a book of the month is Dirty Diana. I think I have a reading TBR predicted. I don't know. My reading has been, my TBR challenges have been just kind of shuffled around lately, which is joyful, but I have a kind of prediction that this one's going to be read somewhat soon too. This has two authors, Jen Besser and Shauna. I think that's Feste, but it could be Feast. Anyway, this book, kind of covers a woman it follows a woman who did everything. Life was under control, should be happy, but then finds out that she's not. And so then ends up making decisions that would undermine that sort of stability, much like All Fours, much like colored television, kind of those themes of looking at when you do everything right and you get there to that place in life and it's not exactly what you think it is. So I think that's going to be read sooner rather than later, but we shall see. From the little darling Friends of the Library, sort of, it was like a rummage sale, and it was darling, and it was a bunch of women who said that they mostly buy each other's stuff, and so they're not that's what they explained the situation to be. They absolutely talked my ear off. There was one that could talk a blue streak, and I tried to really make space for that. I think talkers need their time to fill up my head with words coming out of their mouth rather than just coming out of books. So I listened to her for a while I perused books, and then they only took cash, so I had to walk to an ATM, and they're like, do you have a check? And I'm like, I know what one is. I mean, of course I had checks most of my life. I just haven't had them forever. I use Apple Pay almost always. In any case, man, their books were 50 cents for soft covers and $1 for hard covers. And I'm glad I'm being discerning, because this is what I ended up with, 2 books. A Gathering of Old Men by Ernest J. Gaines. There was just a lot that this cover said, and that title. And this is set in Louisiana, on a Louisiana sugarcane plantation in the 1970s. A Gathering of Old Men is a powerful description of racial tensions arising over the death of a Cajun farmer at the hands of a black man. This came with a fantastic ticket to an art museum, which I'm going to use as a bookmark and then hold on to. It's written, sorry, it's really small. It's written, I believe, in Japanese. It's all written in Japanese. The copyright of this is 1983. So it's interesting to read through these publication dates of how race and racial tensions are explained, always existing, always the truth, but it's interesting to see how they're investigated through these different publication dates. I'm thinking Stillness of Water, which I read kind of recently, which was during Reconstruction. For some reason, that's what's coming to mind as one that is a very contemporary telling of an historical event. In any case, I'm excited for this book. I'm not quite sure when I'll end up reading it, but even though it's a little paperback, and I'm trying to say, you know, you're not as into paperbacks anymore, I'm really, this was a good find for me. And then for 50 cents as well. And this last one, I'm super excited about. It's a hardback at this event, this rummage sale event. Hardbacks were $1 and paperbacks were 50 cents. They, of course, gave me a bookmark for the Friends of the Library Guild. It's a guild. And this book is called What the Fireflies Knew. It's by Kai Harris, and I have heard this book talked about at least once. And this is what the beginning of the synopsis says: an ode to Black girlhood and adolescence as seen through KB's eyes. What the Fireflies Knew follows KB after her father dies of an overdose, and the debts incurred from his addiction cause the loss of family home in Detroit. Soon thereafter, KB and her teenage sister Nia are sent by their overwhelmed mother to live with their estranged grandfather in Lansing, Michigan. Grief, coming of age, great themes. Love those two themes. Little book. I have much anticipation for this book as well. Stellar find, especially for $1 in thrifting. So these are 8 books. I'm going to get on the shelf. Yeah, I have room on my shelf for them, as I have been kind of a bit on a reading tirade. And then I have as many, if not more, books to unhaul into Little Free Libraries. So maybe this week, if not next, I'll get out on a walk around my neighborhood where there's 6, and or do a drive into my old neighborhood where there are also 5 or 6, and get those back out into the Little Free Library ecosystem. And in the meantime, continue reading all of these amazing books.